What is happening? What is happening? Hello, everyone. I am Matt Camp, and I am very happy to be with you after NXT because we have a lot to talk about, including 2 hours of wild action, new stories to get into. Let's get Evan with him and with all of you for the next 30 minutes or so. Let's get this rolling. We have so much to look at this. Hold on. Now I can flip it around. This is the one I've been so happy to make. Look at this, Evan. Look at that.
Strong background.
Deal. How did we do that?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We take it off. We taking the credit for that. We taking that. We taking it.
I'm not going to say anything dumb because Triple H is the creator. We know this. He creates wonderful things. NXT TakeOver in your house is happening Sunday, June 7th. So we don't have any matches yet, but the bottom line is, Evan, we are getting a takeover that is called In Your House.
That's all, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Years from In Your House.
Dude, and it's so perfect, man, and it's so great. I love the background. It's apropos, man. Shout out to Triple H, man. It was an amazing announcement, spectacular announcement. Just had Todd Pettengill on the show today, man. It's incredible, man.
Yes, we did have Todd Pettengill on the show. If you guys didn't hear that, check that out on this week's episode of WWE's The Bump, the man who gave away the house at In Your House one. But so yeah, that's what we know. In Your House, NXT TakeOver In Your House. Coming your way June 7th. That's a Sunday, so looking forward to that. But before we get there, Evan, we have to get into tonight, and it started off right at the beginning. We have new tag team champions, Fabian Aichner, Marcel Bartel, as they defeat, well, technically they defeat Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher, but Timothy Thatcher, Evan, was not there when that match ended. I don't know. I mean, I can't say I thought this partnership was going to go on for too long, but he kind of overreacted, didn't he?
Yeah, just a little bit, far bit for me to talk about a man that tough and that grizzled. I don't want to mess around with him, but it's true. The well-oiled machine that is Imperium, they did what they did. They seen an opportunity. They took that opportunity. They seen a short-handed Matt Riddle and an absent Timothy Thatcher. And we have new NXT Tag Team Champions.
Well, after that happens, and congrats to them for pulling that off. As you said, took advantage of the situation. I cannot take that away from them. No. Thatcher, he's backstage talking to Mackenzie Mitchell, and then Matt Riddle interrupts, and they get into a pull-apart. And then we see Matt Riddle on FaceTime or whatever with Mr. Regal, like we had him on the bump today. What a concept. And then Timothy Thatcher attacks him again, and then we get this match here as the main event of NXT. Very often, or not often at all, do we see the two men who were in the first match of NXT on the night also be in the main event, and it was a lot of grappling, and you didn't see a lot of you saw no high flying, you saw nothing like that, and Matt Riddle, Evan, I think we saw, it only takes 3 seconds.
Yeah, and it's a testament to what he's able to do. It's a testament that the type of people he goes against, he's able to modify and put it like this. He can do what you can do. If you want to do a ground and pound, he can do a ground and pound. If you want to go air, he can go air. You want to do power, you can do power. You want to do speed, he can do speed. It just goes to show you what he's able to do. You know what I mean? And I was just very impressed to see what he's able to do against one of the toughest in the game today, brother.
And Timothy Thatcher obviously wasn't happy after the fact. I don't think knows. I'd love to know what Pete Dunne has to say about that, so we'll get more on that. But Imperium, of course, going back to the beginning of the show, are your new NXT Tag Team Champions. Now, let's move over to the women here because last week we saw Io Shirai earn a disqualification victory over Charlotte Flair, and Rhea Ripley returned. We knew, as Mr. Regal told us, that Rhea Ripley would be speaking tonight. She is not happy with anybody. She's not happy with Charlotte Flair. She's not happy with Io Shirai. And after all that talk, Well, they're going to settle it in the ring at least next week. I am excited for this one, Evan. Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai next week on NXT.
I get Io Shirai and the Queen Charlotte Flair. I get Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, and it's just phenomenal women talent against phenomenal women talent, and it's look, listen, we all know what Rhea Ripley represents, but when she's nasty like that, man, I'm telling you, man, it's everybody just please stay out of this young lady's way, man. I don't want those kind of problems, man, on Wednesday night.
No, I want all of those problems on Wednesday. We'll come right back at her next week, and I am all for that. So
you better believe it.
Also next week, we will see the final round-robin matches in the NXT Interim Cruiserweight title tournament, and we're going to have some things decided. But some things were decided tonight, Evan, because first of all, in Group A, we did indeed see Jake Atlas move to 2-1 with a victory over Tony Nese. So he sits at 2-1. Let's talk about this match for a second, because we now know it's called the Rainbow DDT. I said it's going to be a gift machine now. That thing could take him to the promised land, to the top of this group. We'll see what happens next week. Could get him into that matchup, and then maybe, just maybe, get him past Jordan Devlin. I'm getting way ahead, but it's that kind of move, Evan, that could be a game changer. It's okay
to get ahead, because I know the Irish Ace is scouting this. I know he's watching this. I know he's grumpy. I know he's grumpy over there, but I also know he's a student of the game. That's why he was the Cruiserweight champion. He's sitting back watching that move once hit. I am telling you, be hard pressed to kick out of that move. It's something to behold. And I think I could be wrong, but maybe he's the surprise of the tournament. Is he the surprise of the tournament right now?
I'd have
or should I say breakout of the tournament?
Just because we hadn't seen much of him. I think that's a big part of it. And he's coming in, and as we said, he had that first match with Drake, and not taking anything away from Jake Atlas, but Drake had everybody behind him for obvious reasons. And Drake won that match. Jake Atlas won that match, and then he lost one to Kushida, and now he's come back. So that's what's so impressive, because he was on the injury report last week, and now he comes back and wins that matchup. So that's just impressive. By the way, do want to note this, our own Andy Shepherd over NXT UK, he will be talking to the Cruiserweight champion, Jordan Devlin, tomorrow on Instagram at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I cannot wait to hear Jordan Devlin has to say.
My God.
Good luck to Andy on that one, because he will have his hands full with one Jordan Devlin. Now, in Group B, and then we'll sum this all up here, you had Swerve. He had a lot to say about Jack Gallagher. He didn't have anything to say after it was over, because Gallagher gets his first victory to go to 1-2. Swerve falls to 1-2, and as a result, Evan, both men are eliminated.
It's one of my favorites, man. It was on a nice roll. He picked up a nice victory, and he got a little ahead of himself tonight. Because the variables that come in, and you don't know what to expect, and Tony Nese took exception to what he said when he was talking. And he hobbled him a little bit. Jack Gallagher, who's a student of the game, great competitor himself, used that to his advantage to get the victory. Isaiah Swerve Scott is officially not going to be a Cruiserweight champion.
So let's now sum this all up. What we're heading into next week, this will decide both Group A and Group A. Starting with Group B here, as we said, Jack Gallagher eliminated, Swerve eliminated. They both sit at 1-2. But it will be Akira Tozawa, who's been pulling double duty, because we've seen him on Raw.
Man!
On top at 2-0, he will take on El Hijo de Fantasma, who's at 1-1. Now, I don't know the official tiebreaker rules, but I would have to think if Fantasma were to win, they'd both be at 2-1. There would be the head-to-head tiebreaker. So that's next week. Also, though, in Group A, Jake Atlas is done. He is in there. He has done his job at 2-1.
Yes, sir.
Fate is not in his hands, though. Tony Nese is done. He went 0-3. It will be Drake Maverick at 1-1 with a victory over Nese and a loss to Atlas, taking on Kushida, who was 2-0 with victories over, obviously, Atlas and Nese. So, if we jump ahead here, a little bracketology, if you will.
Metacology.
Great. Yes, interim NXT-atology, whatever you want to call it. Cruiserweight-atology, I'm calling it. If Kushida were to lose to Drake, he'd fall to 2-1. Drake would be 2-1. Drake would have that tiebreaker. However, Jake Atlas would be 2-1. He wouldn't have the tiebreaker with Kushida, but he would have the tiebreaker with Drake Maverick. So I don't know where that goes, but Drake Maverick could really send this entire thing off the rails next week if he were to beat Kushida, which has not been done very often in NXT. So if you're rooting for chaos, and Drake Maverick, I guarantee you, is here to cause chaos, you are rooting for Drake Maverick next week. But we will know the two groups, who's sitting on top, at least we think, by the end of next week. It'll be Tozawa and Phantasma in Group B. It'll be Drake Maverick and Kushida in Group A. Now, the other match we knew about, Evan, that was taking place tonight on NXT, some things happened in that match that were not expected. Cameron Grimes defeats Finn Balor with the cave-in, although it came after the nightstick shot by one Damian Priest, who then revealed himself as the attacker.
Now let's be clear. Now, Damian Priest said, "Why not make your name for yourself on a Prince?" Now, what's very interesting about this, if I'm not mistaken, old Finn Balor was on a roll. He ain't lose since tonight. You know what I mean? He's been on a roll. Cameron Grimes, I'm telling you, we talk about this. He talks a lot. He has a lot to say, but can he go, man? He can go.
Yep.
Man, he can go, man. I know he got a little help. But still, man, to put away Finn Balor, I don't care. I don't care what kind of shape Finn Balor's in. You put Finn Balor away, man, you're on to something.
I do wonder now, and I would think, I don't think I have to wonder too much about this, when we will see Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I don't know if we'll be in a ring. I don't know.
Next week?
But it probably takes Finn's attention away because I know he wants that NXT Championship back, and that leads me to my next point. Today on WWE's The Bump, we had Adam Cole on, and we said, look, you've beaten everybody. You beat Velveteen Dream last week.
Yep.
What now? Is it you challenging people? And he brought up Finn Balor.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I'm retired. I'm good.
No.
He said Finn. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen now, but we did see the undisputed, I don't know, Zoom or whatever it was.
Yeah, the undisputed Zoom.
Kyle's doing a movie. That was fantastic.
He got some heavy hitters in this movie too, man. He got some serious
A-listers movie for Kyle. But I did notice throughout that call, it seems like they settled on, and I don't know when it's going to happen, Roderick Strong dealing with their Dexter Lumis problem.
And it's interesting, man, the old Messiah, the backbreaker. You know what? And it's crazy. That's how you know there's such a well-oiled machine. At the same time, even Roddy said himself, when they said, well, you know what I mean? When they counted it down, he even said himself. So it's going to be very interesting to see because we talk about Dexter all the time. He's no pushover. He's no slouch. He got one of the best theme musics in the business.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting you bring that up because a certain theme song that I haven't heard in like 17 years popped back up on NXT tonight. The End. And who better than to provide the soundtrack than for The End to be doing it for Karrion Kross and Scarlett. We saw saw their entrance, and I heard that music. I went, wait a minute. Are we getting another old pay-per-view back or something?
Unbelievable.
No, it was for him.
How crazy is that?
All the sense in the world. You want to talk about Armageddon? I think that man is going to bring Armageddon on NXT.
This is the first time we talked about it. We speculated about this. He said Tommaso Ciampa personally. He said he's not here to shock the system. That's another shot at a nice old group that we know of. He's here to ruffle some feathers, man.
The next step in this will be interesting because I don't know where Tommaso Ciampa is. That's all I'm going to say. Speaking of Tommaso Ciampa, we got another dinner with the Garganos, and I'd love to get an invite to this because
it's a nice din-din.
I'm in. I know that Candace can cook. I've seen it before. It certainly looks good. They review the film. I appreciate that as well. Did I hear Keith Lee's name get thrown out there a little bit by one Johnny Gargano?
He sprinkled his name a few times, actually. He's a little sprinkle. He's none too impressed. He's none too impressed.
Keith Lee also has something that Johnny may want to laugh.
There's a title that Keith Lee holds. Johnny Gargano might want that. Johnny Gargano feels he deserves that. Johnny Gargano just beat Dominik Dijakovic. Johnny Gargano might be on to something here.
I think the family, the wrestlings, as I like to call them, might be on to something here. But we'll keep an eye. I love the invite, guys, by the way. Big fans, always have been. We had you on the bump. I think you can invite everybody on the bump. Even if it's a virtual dinner at this point, we could do a Zoom. We could do a Zoom. with the dinner, whatever. We'll bring our own food. And you guys can cook, and we'll share our secrets. But more on that in the future. Now, Aaliyah lost to Caden Carter tonight. Robert Stone was out there. It looked like he was scouting. She seemed to want to get some guidance. He's like, I don't know about this. The Robert Stone brand, not quite expanding just yet, but I do wonder if there's still something to this. That's 2 weeks in a row they have been somewhat connected.
I like that he's out there. He's scouting talent. He's scouting new talent. He has high expectations now. Like, listen, he has an expensive taste. You can't just go out there and lose. Now, if Aaliyah came back and got the dub, maybe he would have been more receptive. But after she took the L to the great Filipino, he came out and was not too. He's like, listen. We'll talk later. We'll talk. She's like, wait, what? he expects a little more. That's all I'm trying to say. He was a little. Expensive taste.
I also want to note this. Tegan Knox got a victory tonight. She had her hands full with someone who I think everybody needs to keep an eye on. Indy Hartwell is the truth. Indy Hartwell, impressive Indy Hartwell. You need to keep an eye on her. We saw her get her arm beat up pretty good, and I do wonder if that was in play. It seemed like she might have been favoring it. Shayna Baszler beat her up ahead of Money in the Bank a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. But Indy Hartwell, it kind of felt like, Evan, that Tegan Knox was underestimating young Indy Hartwell. Yeah,
and it's impressive, man. The down under stables down there, they put together some talent, brother. Do they not put together some talent?
You got Vink and Shane Thorne on Raw. You got Indy Hartwell.
Boom.
Oh, and the Iconics are back. The Iconics have a tag team championship opportunity coming up next week because they pinned the current women's tag team champions, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So they are trying to regain those titles, and they're going to be on the bump next week, which is also a wonderful thing. And I am looking forward to having the Iconics. I don't know if it's going to go so well for Kayla.
I'm worried about KB, man. I'm worried about her.
I will totally not egg that on at all. Speaking of champions, returning to the bump next week as well, the NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair will be on the bump next week.
Man, she always has something. It's interesting when you hear. I'm telling you, it's so crazy, man. Genetics are a crazy thing, man. It's just, and she has so much of her father, the confidence, man, and just the persona and the the way she speaks and the role she's on, man. It's just really cool when we get a chance to talk to her for the time we do, because she's always has something powerful to say.
If you didn't catch today's episode of WWE's The Bump, we had on Adam Cole, the NXT champion. Every time he's on, from episode 1 to the one we did today, episode 35, he's the NXT champion. It's never changed.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Ever. We talked Money in the Bank with him. We talked In Your House with him. In Your House 1, which is 25 years ago tomorrow, we had Todd Pettengill on the bump to
legend
away the house. By the way, I tweeted at Triple H, I'm shooting my shot. Can I give away a house? Can we do that? Can we give away a house? I don't know.
You got to get on the front foot of these things. So I'm glad you were right on it. You were on it.
Promote as let's whatever you want to do. We'll get Todd back. I say, hey, what a coincidence. Todd taught us how to do it, how to give away a house today. But we talked to Todd Pettengill about In Your House 1 and his great career. By the way, that house is in Orlando. We also had footage that was done by our team, I think sometime late last year, where they talked to Matthew Pompicelli, the man who at the time was an 11-year-old who won the house. So I don't know, get him involved in this whole thing.
How about full circle? He gives away the next house with Matt Camp, side by side. Boom.
Let's go. That's it. Let's make that happen. I am all for that idea. Talk to them. Also talked to Asuka, Kayla Braxton, a great sit-down interview with the brand new Raw Women's Champion and the second Evan inductee into the Grand Slam Club, joining Bayley.
Ain't that something? That's nothing to sneeze at, man. And it was very interesting how it happened and how it took place. But we could agree there's no one more deserving. If it had to be anybody, it's very fitting that it was Asuka after the amazing rivalry her and Becky had. It just felt really poetic that it was her to receive that championship. It was awesome.
Certainly earned that accolade, so check that out. And, of course, we had Mr. Money in the Bank himself, Otis, joining us. Got a little call-in from Manny's Pete. Got a caller from his brother, Tucker. We gave him some different options to use instead of the briefcase, if he might, like a steak or just go watch the episode.
Go watch.
Go check out the podcast because I give you a little insider information and everything. Like I said, next week, Iconics joining us, Charlotte Flair joining us. And next week on NXT, very important to note, we will see the final matches in group action.
Drake Maverick, baby.
Group B, yeah. Drake Maverick taking on Kushida, Tozawa, El Hijo de Fantasma. Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley is happening next week.
It's ridiculous. Listen, this is too good. Listen, Triple H, will you please stop with the hotness? No, continue with the hotness. I want it all.
Don't stop. Because, by the way, that's also happening, okay? They're doing In Your House. NXT TakeOver
That's 2 days
In Your
before
House.
my birthday. 2 days before my birthday, man. Triple H, I appreciate it. Thanks for the birthday
This is like
present.
your free gift. You're getting your free gift right here. June 7th. It's a Sunday. NXT TakeOver In Your House, announced by Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Road Dogg. DX
Oh, my God.
back. They have certainly been involved on their own. And as DX in Your House is in the past, I think they brought up that hog pen match. How dare you? Come on. Not the best moment for Triple H. He had great moments in Your House of the past, as did Shawn, as did Road Dogg. And more coming. We had a little fantasy matchup today on the bump of Adam Cole against Bret Hart in Your House. And 11 hours later, they announced NXT TakeOver In Your House. So big weeks coming up here for NXT. I will be back with Mackenzie Mitchell on Friday for SmackDown. We'll be jumping on after that. Don't forget to check out Chapter 2, of course, of The Last Ride. Undertaker. If you didn't see episode 1, it's amazing. Check out Postmortem with myself and Ryan Papola last week with Sam Roberts. Should have another big special guest for this week. And, of course, WWE's The Bump every single Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, WWE Network, all of our socials, like what Evan's on right now, at WWE The Bump, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. A lot more fun stuff on there as well. Evan, we'll be right back here next week talking about Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, the NXT Interim Cruiserweight title tournament. We have a lot to get into. I'll talk to you and everybody else then, Evan. Sounds good, man.
When's the interview with the Irish Ace again?
Jordan Devlin and our own Andy Shepard tomorrow. That is Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be on Instagram. Good luck to Andy. He's a pro of pros. He is the play-by-play man at NXT UK, but he is going to have his hands full with the NXT Cruiserweight Champion Jordan Devlin. And I will tell you this right now, Andy. I'm going to tell you right now, one word. Don't say the word interim. Don't
do not say the word interim, please. Just say Cruiserweight Champion or just say Jordan Devlin, please.
Yeah, don't say that word, even though the NXT Interim Cruiserweight title tournament will continue next week. Well, check all that out. You got plenty to watch. You got plenty to look forward to, including NXT TakeOver In Your House, June 7th, Sunday. Check it all out. All right, there you go. Thanks very much. Evan, talk to you, man.
Pleasure, brother.
See you, everybody.